Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Again, welcome to the new channel. We're here to help you see the new you. My name is Michelle Mras, and welcome to Mental Shift. Well, good evening to the United States and to the Philippines. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 33 of Mental Shift. My guest tonight is a best-selling author, speaker, and an artist who believes in modern etiquette as a path to becoming our best selves. She's shown her art across the world to include the Louvre, in Paris. And she's a best-selling author and performance coach pursuing her master's in industrial organizational psychology at Harvard University. Her investment in psychology theory and practice is what led her to a deep interest in helping others. So she has become deeply and passionately devoted to nurturing others and in building their confidence and brand through speaking and consultation practices. So please welcome my friend, Nita Patel. Where are you? There you are.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you joined me because you have so much to share. And when we talk about mental shift here on Mental Shift, people are like, oh, there's like these huge life changes or some huge accident. With you, it was a mental shift that you went from corporate where you had 25 years, well, more than 25 years of technology leadership experience, and you shifted and you're an art and now you're a speaker and a trainer. Explain that mental shift. What were you doing and what happened to shift you to where you are today?
That's a great question.
That's a big question, I know.
That's a big question. It is. I think most of us know that there's something that we were meant to do. And for me, but we go through this journey, and at the right time, it kind of comes out from within you and it comes alive. And I think that's when everything happens. And I think that's what happened to me. I had kind of these stages of what was important. And, I was thinking about that today, in fact, and I haven't admitted to how important it was for me to be a mom. That was very important to me. And I realized that was one of my fundamental values for a long time, even though I might have said, well, this is not happening or that's not happening. But I essentially had to get through that phase. And, as we all say, the corporate world is really playing it safe, right? You don't take too many risks there. And you have a sense of security. And so I think I felt like that was a part of my journey. But looking back, I learned so much, all the experience that I had through the various roles and the companies that I was at. There's so much that I learned that I can now apply all of that to my entrepreneurial life and world. And that's a huge gift. I mean, none of it has gone unseen. And I'm very grateful for that. But I think to answer your question, I came to a moment, I woke up one day and said, I think it's time. I think there's something that I was meant to share with the world and give to the world beyond this. And I started searching for it.
Well, and you searched well. And I'm glad you said that out loud, because so many times people feel guilty for leaving the corporate world or their degree that they were working on or whatever that is and say, but I invested so much time in that. I have to stay there. I must stay in there. It doesn't matter what my heart is saying. You said, no, I'm going to shift this. And that is a very brave thing to do. And I encourage, for those of you watching and you're listening to Nita's story today, is take that step. She didn't just jump, okay? She did assess and she looked around, and she has a story that she tells in her book. Let's share that book. Share the book cover, and it is Boss Vibes. And what's neat about this, it's called Boss Vibes, Self-Esteem, Success, and the Art of Etiquette. And I wanted to share that because I read it and I giggled through it, because it's almost like she's sitting in front of you at a coffee table saying, you know what, this is how it is. And she shares the story of her journey. And I highly encourage you to look up this book, because not only will you learn more about Nita, but you will also learn a lot of her etiquette things that she's learned through life, and examples that she gives of things not to do and to do. And it's well written, well presented, and just easy to follow. And that's even more beautiful about it. So what I want to ask you, Nita, about this book, and then I'll go back to your past, okay? About this book, what made you decide on a book about etiquette. So here's this: 25 years in technology leadership. I'm going to be an artist. Let me write a book. So that's where I'm going. I was like, how in the world did you do this? And I want to go to the book first before we go to your past and how you shifted to art, because that is a story that will make us go down a rabbit hole. And I don't want to forget that you have a book.
Sure, sure. I always knew that I wanted to write a book. I think ever since I was probably in my mid-20s, I knew that there was a book in me. And I also knew that I had to live enough life before I could figure out what that book was going to be about. But really what happened was, through my corporate years, hiring people, interviewing people, managing people, I saw how people were showing up or not showing up. And they would wonder why they didn't get a job, or why they didn't get a promotion, or why they didn't get put on that big project. And for me, I could see it very clearly because it was a part of my upbringing. Etiquette was very prominent. I grew up in England, and I traveled as a kid between Dallas and London. So talk about culture shock in both cities. But I learned a lot of my foundation is from going to school in London and just learning. I mean, I think that was just a part of life there. Things that were taught there were almost, it's second nature. And when I came here, probably when I was a little bit older, I noticed that it was the same things weren't taught in school here. And so there was a vast difference. And so I think later in my corporate life, I realized that that gap really was the reason why people didn't know how to show up to an interview. They didn't know how to present themselves. And I think my biggest reason in writing this book is definitely helping people feel good about themselves and their own skin, and allowing them to realize that having awareness is a necessity. But I would say the biggest thing is confidence. I think we think that etiquette is all about impressing others, and it's really not. It's when you practice certain things, or when you practice most etiquette, for that matter, it makes you feel better about yourself. And that allows you to respect yourself more. It allows other people to respect you. And it's this whole domino effect. Mm-hmm. So that is really my reason in writing that. And it was my corporate life that inspired me to start there.
That's wonderful. And I asked that question because I smile about it. Because like you, I do the same thing with my training of my clients. It's when we're talking about presenting on stage, it's owning who you are. And you do a lot of that too, with the presence, with your training of owning who you are. And that etiquette piece is being confident in how you present. When you walk into a room, that those voices in your head don't do, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. The voices in your head say, I got this, I'm ready. And I know I will show my best. And so that's why I wanted to get to your book first, because it's it's in you, built into you, this etiquette and this presence. Now we've got your book out, we're going to go back. Nita left 25 years of corporate America to become an artist. Now, here's what's amazing about this. She owned herself. She knew who she was, and she stepped out in faith. And so I want you to share that story of, should I do this? Should I not? What kind of went through your head, that mental shift? And then you get to share the amazing thing that happened when you did, because I don't want to blow that. So please share when you left corporate America, the art world, and then what happened.
So I had actually been dabbling in art while I was still in the corporate world. And so it's probably been about 10 years since I have been, I should say, a professional artist. I think we are all artists. We're all creative. But being a professional artist, it's been about 10 years. And I was doing it on the side, just kind of for fun. I would use it more as a creative expression for me. I think I went through moments in life where I didn't really know how to talk about what I was going through. And so I would paint. And that was a huge, it was therapeutic, really. And that's really how I got into it. And I would pile up all of this work, and, my friends would see my work when they came over, and they would ask me about it, and I would be like, no, it's trash.
Typical artist rhetoric.
Yes. We're going to throw that away as soon as we run out of space. But I did my first show, and I think I was hooked. I didn't realize how much I loved it. And
wait, you did your first show. Who encouraged you to do your first show? Did you just on a whim decide you were going to do it, or did someone encourage you to do it?
I had friends and family who were encouraging me, and I think everything kind of just lined up where I had some pieces available that I was debating, what do I do with this? I kind of felt like it was a little bit too nice to throw away almost.
Good.
And so, definitely supportive friends and family that led me to doing that very first show. And I was on a high, at that very first moment. And it's like, I'm going to do this, that this is it.
Well, then we have to get to the next part, because there are many artists that follow me and actually watch who are artists, but don't consider themselves artists yet. And so they hold on to what they have. They hold on. And you are the perfect example of stepping out of your comfort zone, doing a show. And then please share with the audience what amazing thing happened to you, because I'm sure Helene and Monica and Marcel and Michael and whoever else, I'm sorry if I miss you, and Hershey are going to say, what? My goodness, you've got to share. I'll buy my time.
So I did a art fair one day. 1 year, I should say, one weekend. I did an art fair in New York. It's one of the biggest art fairs in the country, and met tons of people there. And a couple weeks later, I got a call from one of the galleries who had come by to see me. I had no idea that they had come to see me. Because, at an art fair, there's thousands of people coming by every day, especially in New York. You can only imagine a 4-day event, and you don't remember who you meet. You're repeating yourself constantly all day long for 4 days straight. So anyway, this gallery called me up one day, and they said, hey, we met you at the art fair, and we really like to show your work. We want to take it to Italy. We want to show it in Milan. And I said, well, that's weird. What? No. How do you don't know me? What makes you think that I want to show my work in Milan? And I was a little irritated for a second. And then I said, well, I asked the question. I said, well, what makes you think I want to do that? He said, well, we met you, and we just love the way that you presented yourself. We love the conversation we had with you. And, that really takes me back to what we talked about earlier, is how you present yourself. It's your brand. It's, whether it's how you are dressed, how you have your hair done, how you converse with someone, all of that is your brand. And I laugh about it, but I say, thankfully, I made a good impression. So the conversation continued, and I think that was a moment of confidence where I was able to practice what I was sharing with the world. And I decided, let me ask for what I really want. And I had never done that before. So, kind of cringing and holding my breath, I said, well, what about Paris? Are you showing anywhere in Paris? They said, oh yeah, we are showing at these amazing galleries. And he named off 2 galleries. And I paused again and I said, what about museums? Paris is my favorite city. So, you know, very near and dear to my heart. He said, oh, yeah, we can do museums. You know, what were you thinking? And I said, so I kind of, you know, shared some thoughts. And there was a long pause. And I was like, oh my gosh, I blew my chance. They probably don't even want me to show in Milan anymore. You know, I'm beating myself up. All these thoughts are going
Your critic.
head. Right. Like you said, the inner critic kicks in and the self-doubt and all that. I said, okay, just breathe, you know, and let's just see what happens. And there's dead silence on the phone. So I'm like, okay, don't panic, don't panic. All of a sudden, the gentleman comes back and he says, well, do you mind waiting an extra 3 weeks?
Yeah.
I said, okay, 4. Well, we can show your work at the Louvre in Paris. And I was like, did I just hear that right? I don't think I heard that right. But yes, you know, and I said yes. And I was so excited. But I was still scared to ask, you know, to confirm what he had actually said. And I think to your point, it was really building up that confidence. And had I not gone to the show, had I not presented myself the way I did, you know, I wouldn't have gotten that phone call. But had I not had the confidence to ask for what I wanted, I would have never had that opportunity. Not only that, you know, that led to having my work shown in multiple museums in Europe and in New York City. And so it's one little question, or, you know, the thing that is in our heart that we really want, that when you're able to speak that truth,
Speak it.
yeah, magic happens.
Yes. And that's why I wanted you to share that story, because there are so many people out there who do, but what if I overstep, then I'll blow everything, or I'm not good enough. No, stop making the judgment call on you. Nita would have never have said, I'd like to go to Italy. No, they came to her. Let other people see you as you are, who you are in the best light you are, because that's how they met you the first time. And then, oh wait, I'm just so excited for you, because you are like the epitome of stepping out of your comfort zone and allowing doors to open for you. So someone asked if they can see your art, and I want to say yes, but we'll take our break real quick. You stand by, share this live stream with your friends, because Nita's story is amazing. We haven't even started yet, really. That's just the very beginning of it. And we'll be right back after this commercial, and then we'll show you one of her newer pieces, not one that went to the Louvre, but one of her newer pieces. So stand by, and we'll be right back right after this. Welcome back. My name is Michelle Mras, and you are watching Mental Shift. And if you are watching, please share this, because Nita Patel is sharing that dreams do come true, especially when you speak them into life. So right after this, I want to share with you the list of our TNC live streams and replays. And they're all in Philippine time. So we invite you to watch all of our live or our replays as U-Turn, TNC The Talk, Awesome Day, The Home Buyer, The Puppet Stories, Mondays at 5:30 p.m., The Big Picture, Monday through Fridays at 7:15 p.m., The Millennial Voice, Mondays at 8:30 p.m., Foreign Affairs, Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m., HR Hotline, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at noon, Moving on Business, Well Home, Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m., Money More, Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Philippines, 5:30 a.m. U.S., and Cyber Next. Check out our page on Facebook or YouTube, YouTube, by searching the hashtag TNC Now, and enjoy these inspiring shows because we made them for you. And welcome back. So you wanted to ask, someone asked if they could see some of Nita's art. So please, let's bring on Nita. And then I want to share one of her art pieces that we have an image of, so we could share that. And thank you to, oh goodness, a couple other people showed up. Hi, Ken Thompson is on YouTube. Thank you for watching on YouTube. And Cho, thank you so much for joining us. And please share the live stream. Nita, are you ready to explain this beautiful art that we're about to share?
Yes.
What is it called?
Transformation.
Transformation. Okay, if we can put that image up, that'd be beautiful. Do you see it? I wish we had a bigger image because our screen is only so big. But there's butterflies. Are they flying into center?
They are, and there's almost darkness on one side. It's a little hard to see on the image, but it's a reddish black at the bottom, and the top is gold with a black undertone. And I think for me, it symbolizes the things that we kind of run to, and the things where we think we're going to find that joy and the dreams that we've been dreaming of our whole lives. We think it's in one place, and we kind of flock to that place, but really it's on the outside of all of that. It's, we use the term think outside the box. And this is almost a representation of the butterflies that are outside of that. They're the ones that can be seen. They are in that transformed space.
So it's like moths to a flame.
Yeah. I think we have this idea of how to find happiness, how to find success, how to find all of those things that, we compare ourselves to with other people on social media. And, we forget to look inside. We forget to see, I think you mentioned it earlier, is just being authentic. And that's when the true magic happens. That's when you truly find joy. That's when you find the real success, is when you're being yourself. And I think this is almost a depiction of that.
It truly is. I mean, you think about it. I mean, if you want to see a clearer image, go to Nita's website. Can we share her website, please? And then you can go to her website and you can see that art piece much clearer. But what's so beautiful about it is, if you look on the outside, like she said, you can see the individual butterflies. But as they get all matted into the middle, you can't distinguish one from the other. And that's, like you said, we do this on social media. We all flock to things and we all want to be the same, when actually the beauty is in being you. So visit nita-patel.com, and you can learn so much more about her and follow her, because like I said earlier, leaving the corporate world and becoming more of an artist, a professional artist, all the way into Italy and, oh my goodness, Paris. Her journey has just begun. And the reason why I asked her to be on Mental Shift, and we can put that image down so that we can talk to Nita again and see her beautiful face. There she is. Okay. Is because when we think of mental shifts, so often we think mental shifts are something major and catastrophic in our lives. And what I wanted to share with Nita is hers was a beautiful unfolding. And like her butterflies, she came out of that cocoon and spread her wings and became more of herself when she left corporate America, allowing the light to come out of her, allowing her true beauty to truly come out to the world so that she can elevate others with her knowledge and her expertise. And as she said, she was raised in, well, between Dallas and England, but that whole etiquette piece, that understanding who you are and how you present yourself. It's a big part of what I train. It's a big part of what Nita trains about. How you show up is how people will judge you. People make split-second decisions on the first movements that you make, or if you're putting salt on the food before you taste it, or if you're eating your bread with a butter knife instead of, whatever it is. People make judgment calls and they say, this person's not ready for the next level. So that's why I'm explaining this, because get Nita's book. Because really, Boss Vibes, it's not just being a boss, it's boss of your life. Own you, right, Nita? Own you.
Yeah, and I think to your point, 7 seconds, that's all it takes for someone to form an impression of you. And so if you mess up those first 7 seconds, it's kind of over, unfortunately. And it's hard to go back and change someone's mind once they've created a certain perception about you. So it's really important. And I think that's really my mission. And, as you said, the reason I was able to step away and go on this journey is to really help people feel confident and know how to. I think there's so many tools and techniques to find confidence, whether it's inside out, outside in. There's so many different ways. But when you have that confidence, you can be yourself. When you have that confidence, you can ask for what you want. When you have that confidence, you can live the life that you have been dreaming to live. And you can't do that if you don't feel confident. And so I just feel like it's so important to help people through that path.
It's phenomenal. And what's the other thing about you that I find so remarkable is not only have you had this full career, then started a whole new artist career, now you're starting another one with the whole, well, not starting, you're in it, speaking and training and helping people get their books out of their heads. And then the other thing you've done is you're working on another degree. Please explain what's with this next level of degree. I mean, I know you're in it and it's helped enlighten you more into what you're giving back to your clients already. But what brought you into the next degree level? I mean, you're in the art world and said, hey, let me go back to get my degree. What came through your mind with that's another mental shift?
That was a huge mental shift. I love people. And I think that was one of my driving forces, is wanting to help people. And specifically in, being in the corporate world for as long as I was, I wanted to help people find their balance in life.
Okay.
And I think that was one of my driving factors in pursuing the degree in organizational psychology, is really understanding people, learning more about, their role and finding that balance. And I think it's really about problem solving for the people who are still there, who can't escape like I did. And finding that happy medium of learning what motivates people, finding out how you can have that balance of staying in the corporate world, but still being happy with yourself. I think so many people, I think the stats are almost 80% of people hate their jobs. and that's horrible, And so if you're going to do something, let's find a way that you can be motivated and you can enjoy what you do, because it affects your entire life. It affects the quality of your health. It affects the quality of your family, relationships. It affects the people that you work with.
Your health.
Yeah, your health. It's huge. And so I just feel like there are some major problems out in the world that need to be solved. And, that's one step closer to doing my part in this world.
Yes. And you are an example for everyone in the corporate world. You were in the corporate world and dabbling in art. You were feeding that part of your soul. I say that so often to people. Yes, I know you've got a 9 to 5 job. I understand. But what feeds you? Make sure you make time for that. And you did. And then what happened with that is that dabbling became the whole pond that you started swimming, and now it's an ocean. And so that's where I see you as such an example of, yeah, you don't have to leave your 9 to 5 job, jump immediately. You were dabbling, you were feeding that side of you until that side of you became so much stronger that you left the other one and went straight to it. So if you're out there right now and you're like, I've got this job, I've got this corporate job, and, it pays the bills, but there's something in my soul that's just crying for more. Find a way, like Nita did, to feed that piece of you. Because only when you feed that piece of you do you actually go to work in the 9 to 5 job, the corporate job, and smile. Because there's something more about you than this on the left. So remember, be the best version of you every day. And, get Nita's book so you learn more about etiquette, because you will be really shocked about the things you do that you don't realize you do. Right, Nita?
Absolutely. And I'd like to add to what you just said by saying that I think our society has conditioned us to saying we are either left brain people or we are right brain people. And that's not true. I think that, we were born with both sides of our brains for a reason, right? We don't have to be left brained or right brained. We can be both, and we should be both. And I think that's where you find the balance. I think where people get stuck is using your left brain during that 9 to 5, and then you forget that you have this whole creative side, this whole artistic side. And it doesn't have to be, art. It can be cooking, it can be gardening, it can be anything in the world. And exploring that creativity, even if you work on spreadsheets all day, you have that balance. And I think that's what feeds your soul, so that you can do your 9 to 5 so much more productive, in a happier state of mind. It's such an incredible balance, and it's so important. And I think that that's something that I really want to share with everyone here today and beyond, to say you're not just right brain, you're not just left brained. So use both sides of your brain and find that balance and find what feeds your soul, because it's all there.
You are mind, body, and soul. And just for some tidbits of information on me, I used to be a quality examiner. I was one of those people. I'm very analytical, engineering background, and I was very analytical, and I was in this, and I went and took a part-time job with an auctioneer. Why? Because I wanted to see people. I'm usually looking at numbers in books and other people's books. And I thought, what I needed to do was I needed people. So I said, yes, I went and took this part-time job. They gave me a microphone. And I never went back to the analytical side of me. And what happens is I use that analytical side in my speaking, in my coaching, and everything else. So it's not like you let it go. It just becomes a part of the other side of you that you've been neglecting so long. So just like Nita, I went from one side to the other side and then pulled what I used to use into my new world and feed my soul every day. Yes, Michael, find what feeds your soul. And it's a beautiful thing. And I need to go to our next commercial. And when we come back, we'll learn more about Nita and a little bit more about what's coming up in her world. So don't leave. Please share this live stream. And when we come back from commercial, we'll learn more about Nita. So share the live stream. Do it right now. See you in a bit. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Michelle Mras, and you are watching Mental Shift. Now, here's a listing of the rest of our TNC shows, and we invite you to please watch the live streams or the replays. Next up are Healthline, Couple Goals, Win Within, Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. These are all in Philippine time. Market Leader, TNC Express, Thursdays at 11 a.m. YOLA, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Negosyo at Home, Fridays at noon. Tech U, TNC Marketplace, Friday and Saturday at 5:30 p.m. COVID Stories, Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. Realty Realities, Saturdays at 4 p.m. Danny Art Show, After Shift, Women at Work, The Family Business, Usapang Beauty, The Fourth Project, and also catch the TNC specials, which are One Day, TNC Arena, TNC PressCon, and TNC Town Hall on Saturdays at 7 p.m. And it's co-hosted by TNC founders Lloyd and Apple. And Town Hall is where we talk to you, our valued audience. So check that one out. And remember, it's never too late for a mental shift. That is what you're watching right now. And that's every Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time in the United States and Wednesday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Philippines. And I thank you so much for joining me today. And for more upcoming shows, follow the hashtag TNC Now on Facebook and YouTube and allow your passion to inspire you. And together, let's hashtag See the New You. And welcome back. Where's Nita? There you are. So Nita, you have so much going on. I mean, you're speaking around the United States right now, maybe in the Philippines, speaking all over the place right now and training people on etiquette and owning who they are and taking presence in a room. And you're helping people write books. You also have an online training program that you're about to launch. And what is that about? And do they just go to your website to find more about it?
Yes. So the new training program is called Command Confidence in Life and in Business. And it's really about, as you said, standing in your own power, feeling confident in your own skin, knowing that you don't have to go out and buy $1,000 suit to impress someone or to feel good about yourself. It's really just the small shifts that you can make so that you do feel confident no matter what you're wearing. So that course launches next week, and you can find it on my website at nita-patel.com. So I'm very, very excited about that course.
Yay. And it's a much needed course, and people don't realize the simple shifts that you can do in your everyday whatever. I mean, the way you walk into a room, the thought processes that go in when you sit down in front of some potential would-be, potential hire or someone who's going to hire you. You never know who you're in front of. Like you in that art show that at one point, you had no idea who walked past you. You could have been a jerk to one person and really nice. No, you were you, who's kind and gentle and loving, and you share what you share. And you're so authentically you that you didn't have to worry about which person showed up at what point. And they loved you for who you are. And that's why it's such a wonderful thing that when you have a book and now you have an online course to help people realize there's so many things in them innately that work perfect, but there's little tiny tweaks you can do to make you stand above the crowd. And that's what Nita is all about, helping you stand in your presence.
Yeah. Elevating your brand, elevating, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a corporate professional, just allowing people to know who you are authentically and, allowing people to see that. I think it's really important, and feeling good about yourself. That's really important, is feeling good about yourself every day. And, once this course launches, shortly after that, I will be opening it up for, this is exciting news that I haven't shared with anyone yet, but I will be creating a certification program very shortly after this course launches. So you can become a certified confidence coach and use my training program to teach others the same thing. So I'm really excited about that.
That's fantastic.
So please keep an eye out for that.
Okay. look after the 15th of July. You need to get to her website and keep a track on Nita-Patel. Okay, there you go, .com. And look out for that program because she has a lot to share. She's got a lot of information. She's got a lot of years behind her. And just her book alone was like, whoa, wow, it was amazing. So I can't wait to see your program at launch. And then it's, oh my goodness, a whole course. I mean, a whole training. I mean, you'll have trainers under you doing the same thing. So you're replicating yourself. That's good job.
Spread the wealth.
Yes. Now, the other thing I wanted to share, I don't know if I can share this. Well, I'm going to share it anyways. You have stepped out of your comfort zone many, many times. And you shared a story with me offline about someone important was with you eating dinner and they asked you a question. And you held back. We don't want to talk about it. Okay, we won't have to talk about it. I'm going to say hypothetically. And your first instinct was to not share your true feelings. You gave what you thought was the quote unquote proper answer. And what you shared with me is that after the course of the event, and then they talk a little bit more, you shared what you really wanted. And how did that make you feel? How did that change you? That's the part I want out of you. Without giving out the rest of the story.
Well, I think two things. We put these judgments on ourselves. You know, I was at a corporate dinner and I thought that I had to give a corporate response. Even if the question was, what would you do, you know, if you had anything in the world that you could pick from, what would you do? You know, that was the question. I still gave a very corporate response, and we do that. We put judgments and we put all of these layers around us. And I think that was the biggest eye opener for me, is just because I have this certain mindset doesn't mean that everyone else around me does.
Exactly.
And learning that awareness, I think awareness is key in everything, but here, you know, especially is having that awareness and constantly checking yourself to say, is this a projection of myself, or is this actually what other people are thinking? And I think that was probably the biggest eye opener for me, is and almost a relief to know, right, that you're not being judged. And most people are never being judged, but we judge ourselves, and therefore we project all of that. And I think that was my biggest mental shift.
Yes. Well, I wanted you to share that because I know many, many people are self-judging and holding themselves back from greater things. Nita's story is proof positive that when you step out into your faith, into what you know, she knew this isn't bad art. This is actually kind of nice art. She let it go. Whatever you're doing in your world where you're saying it's not good enough, no one's going to love it, I don't like it, and you're holding on to it, what you're doing is you're holding back your gift from the world. Allow it out. Nita's world exploded with the most beautiful things, most beautiful experiences. And even when she was worried about traveling overseas and making it back, it all came together because why? Because it was meant to be. When things are meant to happen, things work out around you. So the other thing I wanted to share about Nita, and we actually share this in common, is she was asked to be part of a book series. And then she shared it with me. So now I'm part of the book series. But I want to share this because no matter where you are in the world, this book is available. And it's called 13 Steps to Riches. And what's so cool about it, and why I wanted to bring it up with Nita's, the talk here I'm having with Nita, is because who would ever imagine I left the corporate world, I became an artist, and now I'm in a 13-book series book based off of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, when she told me that, she's like, why would I even do this? She had that self-doubt in her. And I went, why wouldn't you? Your life is a walking testimony to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And so here she is writing a chapter in every book through her life, she is proof that the book works. So if you have not ever heard of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill wrote this book many years ago. And this group of authors, Anita's one and I'm one, we are not reimagining, but retelling it from different parts of the world, different levels of, age, race, you name it. The spectrum of the world is in each of these books. And the first book is based on desire, the first chapter in Napoleon Hill's book. Can we share that book image? 13 Steps to Riches, Special Edition, Desire, Volume 1. It says Volume 1 because Volume 2 is faith. Volume 3 is, it keeps growing. But what you would do is learn from different perspectives. Nita's story is in there. One of her stories is in there about desire. And my story is in there about my desire and how we see it. And I wanted to share that with you because if you go to www.13stepstoriches.com, it's the title of the book, you can pre-order it right now. And then if you are in Dallas or in the Texas area or in the Colorado area, you may meet Nita and I in person while we sign it at bookstores in the near future. Right?
Yes, very exciting. And talk about a mental shift there.
It's a huge mental shift. Because when you think about a book like this, The 13 Steps to Riches, it's like, oh, that's based off of Napoleon Hill. That's way out of my league. My first thought was, whoa, that's huge. Nita, jump. And Nita's like, well, are you going to jump too? Yes, I'll jump too. Because our goal in life, both Nita and I, is to up-level the people who come in contact with us, to help people, guide them to the best versions of them, be it physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is, whatever you can get out of our stories, we want you to learn from it and go to the next level. And so that's why we are participating in this book. So if you want to learn more about Nita, go to her website, nita-patel.com. You'll see more of her art and you can learn more about her history because she is, we are so high level on you, Nita, right now. It's not even funny because we don't have time in an hour to dig deep into what really makes Nita, Nita. She's remarkable. And I encourage you to go find her on her website and learn more about her because I'm going to tell them your secret, the secret that I have in my head.
Go for it.
When I met Nita, I said, wow. She's like, what? I see you on a huge stage and you're painting live. And there's huge canvases. I mean, these canvases have got to be 20 feet tall. And she's painting one of them live on stage as she's sharing some lesson. And I saw it in a snap. And I can't wait to see it in real life. And, maybe it'll be, in a country near you. So Nita, we have 4 minutes left to the show, and I would like for you to share what is a lesson that you'd like to share with the audience tonight, with all the things that you've gone through and all the things that you're still going through and experiencing. You are just such a wonderful example of living life.
It evolves. And the thing that comes to my mind right this second is say yes. I think saying yes is so powerful. And that's what has gotten me to through all the milestones and accomplishments that I've met along the way, including the book that Michelle just shared, The 13 Steps to Riches. It was I'm going to say yes to everything that comes my way. And I did. And now we're co-authoring with some incredible thought leaders in the world. And so, say yes. Every time you want to say no because you have some excuse that you come up with, stop yourself and say, what could I think the thing that we ask ourselves is, or the excuses that we make rather, is why I can't do something. If you just let that go and say yes and say, what could possibly come of this? It's the questions that you ask yourself every day that that self-talk, that inner critic, shutting down that inner critic and changing that self-talk, and asking different questions. How can this help me? How can this take me to the next level? Anything that is going to elevate you, your life, your family, your work, your career, anything and everything that you have your focus set to, say yes and ask yourself those different questions. And I think that is the starting point of something that's life changing. It's definitely been for me. And I do go into my nose every now and again. We get tired and we say, okay, I'm not going to say yes to anything for a while because I'm tired. And a couple weeks go by and then I realize, no, I made a promise to say yes. And, that's how I'm going to live the rest of my life, because that's what's going to open those doors. It's going to allow me to share the things that I'm here to share and, kind of help people the way that I was meant to help people. I think that's very important for me personally. But whatever it is for you, saying yes will open those doors, and asking yourself the right questions, is really going to change your life.
Yes. I love that philosophy, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're ending up where you are already. The best thing that can happen is your dreams could come true. It could open a door that you would never expect. Nita found herself in the Louvre with her art. Really? Who would have ever thought that? I mean, you would do, yeah, no one goes to the Louvre. Oh, yeah? You just met somebody. Meet Nita. She was in the Louvre. So don't minimize what your potential is by your own inner critic. Let other people see you as you truly are and allow them to move you to another level, open doors for you. Nita says yes, and doors have been opening left and right. Now, we're giving you another opportunity right now. Go to Nita's website, and then it's nita-patel.com. And in 1 week, she says, 1 week, her course on command confidence in life and business will launch on her website. And this is another door that could help you get to your next level. I don't believe anything happens by coincidence. You are on this, watching this right now, because there's something you're supposed to learn right now from Nita. So let's go find out what it is. And if you've got a friend or a loved one that you think really needs to hear the story, share this link directly to them and say, hey, I just saw this lady, Nita Patel, and she's amazing. And maybe you need to step out into your dreams too, because you have something in you and I see it. Let them hear her story, so maybe they'll understand that they too have something in them that they're not allowing out, that you see. You could open a whole door for them, right, Nita?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, Nita, thank you so much for joining us and for being just the authentic, amazing woman you are. And I look forward to working with you more and more in the future. And of course, on our 13 book series, as we're signing books across the nation. And keep being you, because we need more people authentically standing in who they are and the light that they are to the world. So, Nita, thank you so much for joining me on Mental Shift. And all of you who are watching, share this live link with your friends and your family, because Nita's story is quite uplifting, and people need to hear that dreams do come true, and they don't have to be scary. They can be wonderful. So until next week, Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll see you Mental Shift, and the Philippines, Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. We'll see you next week. So see you next week on Mental Shift. My name is Michelle Mras, and keep being the best version of you. Be unapologetically the best version. Have a great week, everyone. Until next time, we'll see you then.